full disclosure, my camera might be doing that autofocus bullshit again, and if it does, I apologize. Fuck.
You gotta take yourself to higher ground. You wanna be there when the shit goes down. You wanna see, you wanna be there on a Saturday night. And we're gonna do it right. High five. High five. High five.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Night 5. Episode... Why do I always... 8, I believe. Because, yeah, episode 8. Guys, gals, everyone else who listens and watches, it is WrestleMania season. And as you know, as you can tell by the shirt, you know me, I'm a big wrestling fan. Pretty sure you, yeah, because we've already had a Royal Rumble episode. So, well, since it's Mania season, I figured I would tell you my top 5 favorite WrestleManias. And by the way, those of you who used to listen to my old Happy Wrestling Fan podcast, which is still available wherever you did your podcasts. I don't do it anymore though, but it's the old episode is still there. You would have heard this all the way back from episode 2. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. So if you heard it on there, be prepared to hear it here again. And if you didn't hear it on here, which chances are you didn't, and you're going to hear it here for the first time, then that's good too. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Full disclosure, while I'm wearing a WrestleMania 24 shirt, this was my first WrestleMania I ever attended live. It was in Orlando. We got comp tickets because my dad worked for Mears at the time, and Mears Transportation helped move some stuff to and from the Citrus Bowl, and they gave him comp tickets. We were all the way up in the nosebleeds, but it was still first Mania, and it was amazing. Also, fun fact, my future wife would be in that same Mania, but had way better seats than I did. Nevertheless, and I just didn't realize it then. Nevertheless, I digress. The reason I'm bringing this up is, even though I'm wearing a WrestleMania 24 shirt, it is not part of the top 5. It's within my top 10, but this isn't Saturday Night 10. This is Saturday Night 5. So here we go. My number 5 favorite, my 5th favorite WrestleMania of all time. At number 5, we have WrestleMania 25. That's right. WrestleMania 25, the silver anniversary of WrestleMania. Holy cow, guys. The sole reason being Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. That match was incredible. And then it also had some other decent matches. The Money in the Bank ladder match with CM Punk winning again. That is his second consecutive back-to-back Money in the Bank wins, because he won at WrestleMania 24 as well. And that was fun because I saw that live. But you had Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in an Extreme Rules match. Matt going over there with the Hardy brothers feuding. You had Miss WrestleMania with Santina Morello winning. That was kind of a waste of a match. They should have definitely did a much better job with butchering that for the women. Because the guy won. Come on. But then you had Triple H versus Triple H. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Triple H versus Randy Orton was the main event. And to be honest, it should have been Shawn and Taker, because by the time they reached Triple H and Orton, it was crowd is pretty dead, because they were worn out from the previous Taker and Shawn match, followed by the triple threat Cena, Edge, and Big Show. And that's when Cena attitude adjusted both Big Show and Edge at the same time. Incredible feat of strength from Cena. But it all goes back to that Taker and Shawn match, man. That was probably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. And yet it's my fifth favorite Mania. We're not doing matches, we're doing Manias as wholes. Mania as a whole. So that is why that is my number 5. That match was incredible. All the false finishes. Taker continuing his streak at 17-0. Just wild stuff. Start number 4. Number 4 is WrestleMania 14. WrestleMania 14, 1998, Spring Break 98. We're at my grandparents' house in Florida. I remember vacationing down here in Florida when we were still living in Illinois. So we were on vacation visiting the grandparents who had lived down here already, my dad's parents. And we asked Grandma if she could order the pay-per-view for us at the house, and she did. So we'd have to see it there. We'd have to see the pay-per-view there. And that, of course, was the beginning of the Austin era. Stone Cold. He defeated Shawn Michaels, who we would not see again for another, 4 years. He was out for 4 years of wrestling due to his injuries and stuff and personal stuff. But still a great match. Tyson and Austin. Tyson was in the corner of, we thought, Shawn Michaels, until he cold topped him at the end of the match and revealed an Austin shirt underneath the DX shirt. Well, he put it on. I don't know. Nevertheless, he put an Austin shirt over Michaels. I think that's what it was. Then he had the dumpster match with Cactus Jack and James Hart Charlie, aka Terry Funk, against the New Age Outlaws. That was fun. That was a crazy one. You had Owen Hart versus Triple H for the European Championship with China. Was this the one where China was handcuffed to Slaughter, and that didn't really work out too well. I believe so. I want to say yes, it was. Commissioner Slaughter didn't really stand a chance against China for that. But it was DX rated, as you see with the logo there on the little bottom there. It was it was something. It was definitely something. I'll tell you that. You had what else did you have for that? I know LOD 2000 came back and won the I won a battle royal, I think, tag team battle royal. Oh God, that was also, I just remembered, that was also Taker and Bossman in a Hell in a Cell. If you know, you know. Ministry Taker, Public Caning. Um, so yeah, good overall WrestleMania. My fourth favorite one overall. Shamrock versus The Rock for the IC title, I believe. It was a solid Mania. I really enjoyed it. But not as much as I enjoyed number 3. So my third favorite Mania, we're gonna move up 2 years to 1996 with WrestleMania 12. WrestleMania 12. This was the Iron Man match. This was Bret Shawn. This was the boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 12 had the Hollywood Backlot tour. I was gonna say tour like Disney. It's a Disney attraction. No, the Hollywood Backlot Brawl with Piper and Goldust. That was another fun match. If you want to call it a match, it was a street fight. It was a brawl. It wasn't a match. Razor, no, Diesel versus Undertaker was another big one. I think that was Diesel's last Mania. That was Diesel's last Mania. You had the tag team champions, the Godwins against either, was it the Guns or was it the Body Donnas? I'll have to check that in post. I forgot too. I legit forgot. But I know Sonny was in the corner of whoever won that match, so that's what made me think it was the Body Donnas, and thus making causing the Godwins to lose, so she distracted Phineas, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and then don't forget the return of the Ultimate Warrior. The return of the Ultimate Warrior. And by the way, I met the Ultimate Warrior that year in the summer of '96. That was a fun meetup. More on that a different day, because I might do my 5 favorite wrestlers I've met for another category down the line, future episode. But yeah, I remember it was the return of the Ultimate Warrior, and my grandpa, being a big Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan fan, we made him watch his return with us, and he remembered the entrance being longer than the match against Triple H, and yeah, that was something. But yeah, I was definitely but it all culminated with the Iron Man match. Both men going 60 minutes, and then you had going into sudden death. There must be a winner. Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin Music, winning the match. Incredible. Boyhood dream came true. And he had that great entrance when he ziplined down from the top of the stadium into the crowd. It was incredible. It was incredible. Definitely one of my third favorite. That's why it's my third favorite WrestleMania for sure. Definitely incredible. Number 2 is gonna be a bit nostalgic, and that's why it's a number 2 for mostly nostalgic reasons and a personal, space in my heart because of it, and I'll explain right after this. And number 2, WrestleMania 6. Yes, I know. WrestleMania 6. Why is it number 2? Because it's my first ever WrestleMania I've ever seen that got me into wrestling. Why is it not number 1 but number 2? Well, as good as I remember it, I mean, the card was packed. It was a packed stat card. The matches were, all right. Nothing too spectacular. But at the same time, because it was my first ever WrestleMania that I've seen, I still wholeheartedly, keep it at the top of my list because of it's what kickstarted my love of professional wrestling. Hogan, Warrior, the Ultimate Challenge, title for title, champion versus champion, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. Hulk Hogan losing the WWF Championship to the Ultimate Warrior that evening in Toronto at the Sky Dome. Also, you got Demolition winning the tag titles from Colossal Connection. You had Mr. Perfect lose to what's his name? Bruce Beefcake. Piper and the controversial half white, half black painted body. So controversial that it's not shown in replays today, unfortunately. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, come on. And then it's bad because he was against Bad News Brown. So yeah, like I said, it wasn't like wrestling wise. The card was pretty stacked. The matches were pretty okay, with the big attraction being Hogan and Warrior for the. Oh no! It had a nice. The first ever mixed tag match happened at this pay per view. It was Dusty Rhodes and Sweet Sapphire against Sensational Sherry and Macho King Randy Savage. So that was a fun one as well. That stood out, that match. So it had some it had moments. Jesse, the Body Ventura, and Gorilla Monsoon on commentary, most of, calling the action. That's always a classic with those two paired up. So that's why it always remains number 2 in my heart and on my list as my second favorite Mania of all time. Mainly for the nostalgia, mainly because it was my first WrestleMania, and mainly because Hogan and Warrior, without them, I wouldn't have gotten into wrestling in the first place. So, but one WrestleMania beats out the rest. Here's number one. WrestleMania X7, aka 17. WrestleMania 17. Just one more fight and I'll be through with this. I probably butchered that fucking song, but I don't care. No. Rock. Austin. Austin heel turn at the end. The My Way, Limp Bizkit promo hype video leading up to it is just incredible. Incredible. But the whole entire card was incredible from top to bottom. The matches they had on this was just, so good. So good. They had the TLC match, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. You had the triple threat hardcore title match with Raven, Kane, and Big Show. You had Vince McMahon versus Shane McMahon. With that feud going on, they just bought WCW, and Shane was representing WCW, and Vince was with WWF and all that. You had the Dimmick Battle Royal was fun. Just such a good show from top to bottom. The first match between Taker and Triple H, Motorhead singing Triple H out. It was just incredible. Just an incredible show from top to bottom. I believe that was China's last Mania, if I'm not mistaken, as well. WrestleMania X8, X7. China's last Mania, I think. And she beat Ivory, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I'm almost positive. So yeah, a lot of great matches, and it all led up to Rock and Austin for the WWF title, and Austin joins forces with Vince McMahon himself. He shook hands with the devil himself and formed a two-man power trip with Triple H. And guess who was at that pay-per-view, the following pay-per-view, the Backlash pay-per-view, at the Horizon? It'll always be Horizon to me. Fuck the Allstate Arena. It'll always be Rosemont Horizon to me. To witness the power trip against Undertaker and Kane for all the titles on the line. Guess who was there? Me and my buddy Chris. We were there, and that was my first ever WWF pay-per-view event I've ever been to. The following month after this break. That was epic. And so was Epic. Both epic. It was an epic time around 2001. Just like it's an epic time currently in wrestling. Guys, what's going to happen this year's WrestleMania? 2-night spectacular. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is I'm off Sunday because we're closed, where I work. So that's good. And then Saturday I work a mid-shift. So I will be able to see the whole show. The pre-show I don't care about. The main show, is what I care about. The main shows is what I get to see, and I can't wait. My God, what's going to happen? Cena, Cody, who will win? Will Cena overcome Flair's championship reign? I'm kind of hoping he will. But then again, would Cody retain? I don't know. I'm kind of hoping Cena will win. To be honest with you, I'm pulling for Cena a little bit. I mean, okay, yeah, Cody, you finished your story. You held the title for over a year. That's all fine and good. Cena needs to make history before this is his farewell tour. Okay, he's leaving December. Let him have a few months with the title. So just to make history, number one, and number two, just because heel Cena has been fantastic so far. And also, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk in the main event of night one, most likely night one main event, and then night two main event's going to be Cody. And that's most likely what's going to happen. But let me tell you, it's going to be something. I'm looking forward to both nights for sure. Live from Las Vegas. So we will see what happens. Who do you think's gonna win? And what are some of your favorite WrestleManias? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, guys, we will see you next time for another edition of Saturday Night 5. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Yeah.